What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're for a new Madden 23 5-year rebuild from the fallout of the 2023 NFL Draft. We've already done a rebuild with Bryce Young on the Carolina Panthers. We've done a rebuild with Anthony Richardson on the Indianapolis Colts. And I decided to skip for now. We'll likely have it out this weekend. The Houston Texans CJ Stroud rebuild. Because, like, you know, CJ Stroud, Will Anderson, that's going to be a lot of cheese immediately. I went and just looked at the free fall of Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans as a more interesting situation and scenario for me here today, given the fact that the Titans roster is pretty butt cheeks. So the first round, they got Peter Skoronski, 78, hidden dev left tackle. He is going to be our Taylor Lewan replacement. They were able to trade up in the second round to secure the services of Will Levis. I personally did not have a first round grade on Will Levis. I thought he would go in the second round, where he did go, but there is still absolutely a lot of tools for him to develop as a potential franchise quarterback, and we are going to play that one out here today. And it all starts, obviously, with him getting on the field sooner than later and trying to get a dev trade. They got Tyjae Spears, running back out of Tulane in the third round. He popped with a hidden dev trade from Bengals draft class here. And interesting enough for Spears, why he kind of fell. He was a guy that absolutely dominated the offseason here and Senior Bowl and yada, yada, yada. But he is like the Jai Todd Gurley. He's like some knee issue going on, which might stunt and halt the longevity of his career, but that's fine. He's going to be, you know, smash and dash RB2 behind Derrick Henry. We got Jalen Duncan, the fifth round, 72 offensive lineman, which is good. Our offensive line is in a little bit of rebuild. He actually might find a way to start. Josh Wiley in the sixth round, and then they drafted a wide receiver that wasn't even in this draft class, so I just drafted Raheem Jarrett, 71 out of Maryland. But ultimately, this draft class, Skoronski and Levis are the big two that need to come in and contribute right away. Let's take a look at the rest of the roster. It is not very good. Here's going to be a look at our Tennessee Titans as we go into year one. In real life, there's probably going to be a smooth transitionary period. Tannehill starts, and then eventually you look at Will Levis. We don't really have that luxury with Will Levis on a normal dev trade. We need him to have his best of an opportunity to win Offensive Rookie of the Year and get up to a star dev. We got Derrick Henry and Spears. Rest of the skill position spots, though, like we're going to need someone to break out. Treylon Burks, normal dev. Kyle Phillips, 71. Westbrook Ikine, normal dev. Okonkwo, normal dev. Like, you know, at minimum, one of these guys needs to go up dev trait this season, or else we're going to just have to completely revamp and overhaul that room. Offensive line, we got Andre Dillard at right tackle, coming over from the Philadelphia Eagles. Reduns at guard. Aaron Brewer, 68 at center. I kicked Jalen Duncan into left guard, where he's a 73. And then the first round selection, Peter Skoronski, 78 left tackle. There is our Taylor Lewan. I mean, in real life, I'm going to guess you might have Skoronski flip to right tackle and have Andre Dillard play at left tackle. That's where he played with the Eagles. But, I mean, for Madden, whatever. We'll just keep it as is. I want my left tackle to be my premier tackle. D-line, we got Autry, Tart, and Jeff Simmons. Obviously, Jeff Simmons, he's got to carry low. He's got to be outstanding in this rebuild. Rest of the front side, we got Harold Landry, Monty Rice, Al Shire coming over from the 49ers, and Arden Key there at edge. We have Amani Hooker and Kevin Byard at safety. Sean Murphy Bunting came over in free agency from the Bucs. Christian Fulton, Caleb Farley, and Roger McCreary make up our corner room, which, I mean, again, like, this is a rebuild, man. There are not a lot of guys that I think are going to be good enough to get us where we need to go right now for a Super Bowl run. So we're going to need some developments. We're going to need to have some roster turnover. We're going to need some big names to come available in free agency. We're going to have to draft very, very well. I think a lot of work is going to have to go in to shaping this Titans roster around. But hopefully we can do so featuring the 2023 top end of the draft class, at least with Skoronski and Will Levis. Let's get into year one. And coming off a nice Week 10 victory over the Colts, we're 5-4, right? And I mean, everyone is kind of like, you're either almost first and almost last here in the AFC South, but 5-4, given that our team's not very good, is pretty good. I mean, we got to finish out strong. I could see us finishing still with a pretty depressing record, but 5-4 at the midway point, not too shabby. Take a look at our contracts. I'm hoping we have a lot of salary cap, which we do, given the state of our roster, which gives us just that much more flexibility to do and sign whomever we may want to. First up is Derrick Henry. He is the Tennessee Titans. We'll give him a 4-year deal. I'm not really worried about any sort of regression. Jeff Simmons actually got, you know, obviously a big extension in real life, so we kind of want that to line up. He's the best player on the defensive side of the ball. We have Denico Autry, probably can get younger at defensive end. We have Tier Tart. I think because he's interested, if he'll take this 2-year deal, that's fine. Gives us some flexibility as well. He's 308 pounds, something like that. So, you know, if we need to, and we get maybe a more true nose tackle, we could probably flex him out to the Nico Autry spot at defensive end. Sean Murray Bumpet, he's had 2 dev trait scenarios that he's failed to hit. So I'm just intrigued. Like, it feels like it's only a matter of time that this guy's going to hit on a dev trait scenario and get up to a superstar. He's 0 for 2. He's not going to be 0 for 3. You know, fool me once, shame on him. Fool me twice, shame on him. It's his fault. Third time, fool me, it's got to be on him again. We got Christian Fulton here at corner. Only 24 years old, almost an 80 overall. Scheme hit for us as well, so we'll keep him in the building, and hopefully we see a dev trade sooner than later. But obviously we will be moving on from Ryan Tannehill. That's probably a big reason why we have a lot of salary cap rolling into next year. So we're going to have, I don't even know, plus with whatever the salary cap raises up to, we're going to have so much money to flex in next year's free agency period. Make this team a lot better quicker. So at the end of year 1, the Tennessee Titans, I still think if you look at 7 and 10 for the Titans, given the state of the roster, not that bad, but coming last place in the AFC South. It's been a minute since we've struggled out the gate, which is also kind of weird because we're rebuilding a lot of bad teams. But, you know, generally speaking, even with bad teams, we've been playing pretty well. Now, I hope we didn't get robbed. At 35 touchdowns looks good. So, don't want to blame it, but look, you might say, C4, whoa, Tannehill played? Well, we're not going to acknowledge that the depth chart may have reset, and I didn't catch on to it right away. But at some point, maybe a game or 2 into the season, I realized Will Levis wasn't playing, even though I clearly made him my starter. So, I mean, I guess if you throw all those numbers on, you know, he goes over 4,000 yards, maybe even better. I just hope that doesn't bite him in the ass enough to not win, you know, an award here, because we need to get him off a normal dev. But that's a hell of a rookie season. Almost 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns to 11 picks. Pretty much anybody would take that in a Titans fandom. Almost 1,800 yards, 15 touchdowns for Derrick Henry, Tyjae Spears, 408. So that's a healthy little tandem there. Kyle Phillips, 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns on 94 catches. Almost 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns for Treylon Burks. So both those guys absolutely ate. Okonkwo, solid year for a tight end. Almost 900 yards, 6 touchdowns, average 50 a game. So a big part of this offense. Defensively, Al-Shaair, 136 tackles, 7 TFLs leading the team. 13 sacks, Jeff Simmons, 11.5 from Harold Landry, 7 from Nico Autry, and Murphy Bunting leads the team. Not a lot of interceptions here. Yearly awards, Lamar Jackson wins the MVP. All right, I'm telling you right now, I don't like the fact Bryce Young's on the MVP shortlist. Does not bode well for us to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Player of the Year goes to Joe Mixon. We got Myles Garrett. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Bryce Young. Wow, we were off the mark. Will Levis coming in at number 3. That's so far out the mark. I don't know if we even hit that if he plays the extra 2 games, but we'll never know. Trenton Simpson wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then for the rest of the individual awards, I'm not foreseeing any Tennessee Titans being award winners, which we were not. It's year 1. We're trying to put it all together, but our big goal this year was getting Will Levis off that normal dev. I don't know if we did enough. And in closing on year number 1, no dev trade for Will Levis. But we did get a star dev trade for Treylon Burks, a star dev trade for Kyle Phillips. Skoronski's hidden dev came out as a star. Tyjae Spears' hidden dev came out as a star. But Will Levis, no dev trade. I think Okonkwo had a chance, man. Almost 900 yards for a tight end. But no dev there. On the defensive side, we have Harold Landry and Jeff Simmons both going up to superstar. We did lose to superstar, however, on Kevin Byard, who regressed down to a star dev. I don't think there was really any other movement on anyone else. So generally speaking, I mean, pretty good, even though we didn't hit the Will Levis dev trade goal, which we've got to figure out a way to hit next season. Maybe he plays a full 17 games. He'll have the stats to get that dev. Played well, though, in his rookie season. To be optimistic that he can hit that here in year 2. And even with all this money, very, very light in free agency. Not a lot of assets. We need like a center, wide receiver. I could use linebacker, but the top linebacker was Tremaine Edmonds. And obviously, he signed a massive contract. He's not an actual free agent. So I try to avoid those guys. The only one that kind of makes sense is at Josh Uche. You know, like Vrabel likes his Patriots, former Patriots. Josh Uche drafted by the Patriots. Edge rusher would be able to play on the other side of Harold Landry, coming with a pretty big, obviously we've got a lot of money. So we'll come with a substantial bid on an 82 star dev pass rusher. And, I guess the good news is that all the salary cap will likely roll over to next year. We'll have even more and hopefully get a better roll of available free agents. All right, we're going to pull the most Titans thing possible. I'm looking at what we need. Wide receiver and D tackle. Those are their 2 bigs. Did a little bit of homework here on the wide. I don't think it's a particularly strong wide receiver class. Jeff Wade looked like the best. I just can't get a true read. A catcher traffic, B deep, running CC. 6'3", 224 deep threat that ran a 4.4. But like nothing elite, nothing really standing out. I feel like that just might be a wasted normal dev pick. And in reality, our wide receivers, you know, they popped off last year. I don't know. Maybe give them another year of development. At center, I mean, there's some value centers here for sure. But the fact that like this guy's just staring me in the face and we just put up a hypothetical that he can move into center. AA, top 5 in true talent, Kevin Rich, elite strength at the position. Now, D-tackle. Now, there is a defensive tackle that looks, I mean, really on the defensive line. Ernest Peterson looks like he could be solid. Also would fit our scheme, 6'4", 291. A tackle, B powers, B block shed, and has elite strength. But the rest of the stats are whelming. Not much on the right-hand side. And at defensive tackle, I did a little bit of homework here on Greg Frazier, 6'4", 311. So kind of the cutoff for a nose tackle. And he looks pretty good. But I was like, oh shit, he's only the second bench press? What's the number one? Is there one of those big, gigantic 300-plus nose tackles? And there is. So I feel like Eddie Bass, we'll call him Bass. I like Bass. Let's go with Bass, like the music instrument. Big old nose tackle with 46 reps. So that's likely 99 strength. I think I'd rather that in the third round. So like there's our defensive tackle. I rather need center. And the fact that there's still a top 5 lineman available, top 5 pick, doesn't really mean a whole lot. But I want to be optimistic here that he's a stud. Kevin Rich, let's go. It's a Titan pick as well, building on the O-line. Stronsky last year, Kevin Rich this season. Give me that dev trait. Eddie Bass. Let's go. There's our nose tackle, day 1 starter. A little bit of a gamble here. This guy does fit our front. And in the third round, the fact that we got 3 Bs, 6'3", 297. Not much to write home about in terms of him athletically. I mean, let me just double check, make sure there's not a linebacker that we're getting like some good vibes off of. Clayton Phillips, B tackle, A zone coverage. Are you a freak athlete? If you are, I may be interested. You are not bad of an athlete. Maybe not exactly what we're looking for. Not much there. Middle linebacker. On the outside, we get the AA here in Ian Bolton. Are you a freak athlete? Gotta get some 4.3 speed. I get elite acceleration. How do you have elite acceleration, elite speed? Yeah, let's go. Okay. Hey, look at that. That D-tackle, D-end, or whatever, still here on the board. We'll grab him in Dylan Curry. Welcome to the Titans. So, able to get the first 4 players that I wanted. Feels pretty good. All right, so the D-end was suspect. I thought I actually had a good line on a fullback, and he actually kind of bummed out. But I got a 74 kicker, normal dev, 95 kick power. Bolton, who was kind of just a shot in the dark at linebacker. Just gave him on the traits. He actually looks legit. He probably starts. He might bump out Monty Rice for alongside Al Shair. Let's move into middle linebacker. See what that does to his rating. Could go down. Stays at 73. Eddie Bass. Go with that, I guess. We'll go with Bass. Nose tackle 70, but he does have the normal dev. And look at Kevin Rich, 77 left guard. And we are going to, I don't even know. Do we make him center? Do we make him right guard? Do we make him right guard? And like, I feel like center, because it's the least important spot. Like, this guy has a very high ceiling. You might want to put him at right guard and then move somebody else into the center position. Who's going to be offense? Rolling in to year number 2. And what I did is I kicked Reduns in from guard, even though he played tackle. And we got punished because I think he was a 75 overall. And shifting down to center is, you know, a -3. So you're not really getting the luxury. Sometimes you can move linemen into center. And the rating won't take much of a hit. We took a substantial hit, but nope, he's learning the position, so his rating shouldn't stay the same. But we're going to be optimistic that he'll be solid there, and this is our best combination for this season. But look at the rest of the offense. We are absolutely just kind of gunning in right now on Will Levis getting another dev trait. I don't know what the ceiling is of this rebuild if Will Levis does not start gaining his dev traits. So that's a big-time priority for us here. On the defense, we got Simmons, Bass, and Tart on the front 3 with Landry, Bolton, Shair, and Uche, who was our lone big free agency signing. Really shoring up the front 7. Hooker, Kevin Byard, Murphy Bunting, Farley, and Fulton, as well as McCreary, make up a really, really depthful secondary. But you can't really gas up this team too much without just... We need the dev trait for Will Levis. I don't even care if we only get 3 wins this year. Get him up to a star dev. That is priority number 1. All right, we're at roughly the midway point, but I saw this break this here. This is the 4th. So I gotta show it, just in case. I don't think I've ever seen a guy miss out on 4 dev traits for Murphy Bunting at corner. This is his 4th dev trade scenario, breakout scenario. What can he do? We're 5-2, but unfortunately, it's also like super competitive right now. Top 3 teams in the division. It could be anyone's division, and we are here, and our game just crashed, and some reason John Madden's there for us for some reason. That's fine. Definitely nothing suspect going on here. Open the dev trade. It's 4th one that he's probably about to miss. Let's be optimistic. We'll even leave that in. A little bit of a botch job because maybe that's the good luck we need. Now, it was a low-scoring game. There's a chance. And he has gone 4 dev trade scenarios in a row without popping once. All right, something else will come live. I haven't seen this yet. Eddie Bass, he hasn't been on, he's obviously a nose tackle. He's not playing as much. But we had 3 hidden dev players from this draft class, and take a look at this. So Rich on the offensive line was a top 5 in true talent, or top 5 projected. He's superstar. Like, I'm already thinking right now, if we move on from Andre Dillard, his rating only goes down 1 point at tackle. Do we just kick him to right tackle and have our best 2 linemen playing at the tackle spots? That makes a little bit of sense to me. On the defensive side, our middle linebacker, Bolton, was hit to dev, and he came out superstar. So 2 superstars in this draft, a chance at 3 when Bass's dev trade gets unveiled. That'd be incredible. We're at the midway point of the season, 6-3, sitting atop the AFC South, but we also are in a 3-way tie, and we're almost 3rd in our division. So it's going to be a very, very tight finish. One that, I don't know. Again, I'll tell you right now, at this point, I will sell missing out on the playoffs if we can get that dev trade for Will Levis. Looking at free agent, we have Kevin Byard. Already went down a dev trade, but still obviously one of our best players on the defense side of the ball. Let's keep him until he retires. Caleb Farley, developmental corner. I think just for the dev trade, for how cheap it is, absolutely worth it. We have Stonehouse at punter. Get him for the remainder of this rebuild, 4-year deal. One of the best punters, best young punters in the league. Reduns at center. I feel like we probably can move on and try to bring in a more natural center for that position. And we are going to be rolling in to this offseason with an insane war chest of money at our disposal. And year 2, very successful. Didn't win the division, but 11-6 is a great record for where our squad is at. The fact that we're 11-6 with a lot of rookies, a lot of guys that have yet to even hit their prime, and we still have like $100 million of salary cap. Our squad is not on the same level as the other team making the playoffs, and we are definitely overachieving. Take a look at these stats here. Will Levis, I hate seeing that because outstanding touchdown interceptions, but probably because of the scheme, I don't think with those yards we're going to get a dev trade because unless he gets quarterback of the year or something like that, just, that's, what was he, 20th? 27, one of the lowest passing yards in the league. Gonna hold us back. And that's because Derrick Henry's a machine. 1,800 yards for Derrick Henry, 9 touchdowns. We had 70 catches, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns for Treylon Burks. Kyle Phillips in the slot. Wow, slot wide receiver in the Titan scheme goes off. 1,200 yards, 17 touchdowns. Maybe need to, I don't know, maybe put Treylon Burks there. Assuming he wants it, we want him to be the guy that might go up. But I'm expecting a dev trade here. Phillips should be a superstar when all is said and done. That's an outstanding season. Defensively, Alshire and Bolton, our new superstar linebacker, both go over 100 tackles. Bolton had 3 picks. 11.5 sacks for Jeff Simmons, 7 from Harold Landry, 6 from Josh Uche, and Bolton there leading the team. Did Bass get his dev trade? Did we get 3 superstars? We still don't know. But what we do know is that we made the playoffs. Will Levis is playing very well, even if the passing yards aren't there. So I'm optimistic. We'll be able to bounce a team that's 4 overall points higher than us in the Miami Dolphins, which we do, and that's on the defense. 27 points is respectable from the offense. Holding, Tyreek and Waddle. They have Jimmy Garoppolo there under center. Wow, how did this happen? Was it a throttling defensive performance, or did they just have a stinker? We got 2 sacks. Jeff Simmons, Harold Landry, Alshire had an interception. It was just a dominant performance on the defensive side of the ball, and we get to avoid the Kansas City Chiefs in the next round. It's a divisional rivalry. We get to find out who the best team is in the AFC South. If we could get to this upset, this would be monumental, and we do! We are in year 2 and a game away from the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, we have the cheat code in the AFC that we have to try to figure out how to beat. But in the battle of the 2023 quarterbacks, Will Levis, Outduels CJ Stroud. Doesn't have the yardage, which is kind of in the knock on him, but no interceptions. CJ Stroud having 2 picks. That is very, very costly. And our interceptions go to our superstar linebacker and Christian Fulton in the secondary. The Cinderella run continues. Will Levis and his Titans take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl on the line. And, again, reiterate, we have $100 million of salary cap. You know who spent that $100 million on talent on the field? The Kansas City Chiefs. So they were able to get that dub. Definitely overachieved. I'm excited to see where this team can go year 3. Let's see what kind of dev traits we get to at season's end. Chiefs went on to win the Super Bowl. Take a look at our squad as it relates to dev traits. We did get the star on Will Levis, which is huge, but Kyle Phillips with 17 touchdowns and over 1,000 yards did not go up or down a dev trait, which is very, very harsh, but I'm not going to complain. Will Levis, I did not expect him to get a dev, even though he had 42 touchdowns and 7 picks. He got it, so that's a win. That will make me, let everything else kind of go under the rug, at least this season. Defensively, Bass's dev trait came out as a star. We lost Harold Landry's superstar, and that is about it. Luckily, though, we hit on 2 superstar dev players in the draft. Let's keep that up. Let's keep that level of consistency for our drafting. But crazy in free agency, Jalen Waddle was the big fish. We just had so much money, and we clearly need a game changer at wide receiver. That's what we went out and got. Landon Dickerson also played center in college. Played center at Florida State. We need a new shiny center. That's what we're doing. So going into this draft, we pick very late at pick 30. In terms of what I'm looking for in a player, I guess at this point it's like competition for Tart, getting a 3-4 defensive end, and the best looking one right here is Desmond Solomon, I think. Just from the traits, elite acceleration, elite strength. Yeah, all right. I mean, I guess we were due for a normal dev after 2 superstars last year. Look, he still could be a good player. 86 acceleration, 95 strength. That's a good combo. Conquo hasn't developed the best. I did a lot of homework on wide receivers, but after signing Jalen Waddle, I don't think we have to do as much. But this looks like a really solid tight end, top 5 in the 43 cone and 20-yard shuttle. We don't have much information. We do know he's A catch in traffic. 6'6". I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. And he has a dev trait. Picking at our draft recap. So Solomon in the first round, while he didn't have a dev trait, he is a 74 overall. I wonder if I kick him to D-end just for competition with Tart, if that shifts his rating up a little bit, especially when you're dealing in the business of a normal dev player. Higher rating, the better. And he actually goes down to a 72. Cart tight end, hit a dev in the second round. He's 76. Which is amazing. We got Chris Dixon, a 72 wide receiver. A couple mulligan picks. A 76 overall fullback in the 6th round. Let's go. Not bad. So the minute point of year 3, we are obviously just lost to the Colts for first place. But 7-2 is an awesome place to be. Actually in a weekly award winner in this matchup. And it was Algier with 8 tackles, 2 sacks. Cool. Take a look at our contract situation. Even with spending big time money on Landon Dickerson and Jalen Waddle, we still have an absurd amount of salary cap space, which we intend on spending. First up, we have Amani Hooker at safety. No issues about him. Him and Kevin Byard have been very solid back there, so we'll give him a deal. We have Sean Murphy-Bunting, and while he's been taunting, actually, you know what? We'll let him at the open market. Just not working out. You've missed how many dev traits, buddy? You know what? Kyle Phillips, even though now he's kind of surplus requirement for our dev, he got 17 touchdowns. He's found a way to be very good in our scheme, so I'd like to keep him in the building. We kind of moved on at tight end. We definitely are going to have to get a replacement here at right tackle. We'll move on from Andre Dillard. But again, we're going to have almost another $100 million available to spend in free agency. We're awesome. We are awesome. Number 1 rushing offense, number 2 overall defense, 3rd in passing, 1st. You cannot run the football on us. My God, the Houston Texans suck. Should have went Will Levis, not CJ Stroud. Look at our stats. Derrick Henry, leading rusher, over 2,000 yards. Ian Bolton, our middle linebacker, leads the league in interceptions. We have built something special here. Will Levis, and you know what? I mean, last year Will Levis 40 touchdowns was great, but generally speaking, he's playing good, but he's not like MVP. So many times we do these rebuilds, we get a key player in place, and they play like a generational talent. Will Levis is playing like a solid to good quarterback. He's playing like a top 10 quarterback, probably closer to 10 than he is to number 1. Derrick Henry was awesome. We had Treylon Burks was awesome. 99 catches. Ooh, he might lose a dev trade on Jalen Waddle. He's an X factor. We got to be prepared to take that one on the chin. Kevin Carr, our hidden dev tight end, popped as a star. Again, you know, we got the 2 superstars in our first draft. I'm not going to get too greedy. I would like to see Treylon Burks get a superstar dev off of this. Surprise, surprise. Do you think we put him in the slot? We did. So, I mean, I guess if we do lose the dev trade on Jalen Waddle, maybe we put Jalen Waddle in the slot again next year. Pretty much whoever's going to be our slot will go up a dev trade. Whoever not is going to be at risk of potentially losing it. Ian Bolden, our superstar middle linebacker, 121 tackles, 5 TFLs, 5 interceptions, 11.5 sacks from Jeff Simmons, 9 from Harold Landry, 7.5 from Josh Uche. Murphy Bunting had 3 picks there as well. Looking at the yearly awards, MVP, Luke Williams. 74, I assume that's a quarterback. 74 quarterback there for the Miami Dolphins in the AFC. Looking for some Titans. Can we get some Titan love? Derrick Henry, 2,000 yards, comes in at 4. There's 4 better running backs, 3 better running backs than Derrick Henry. Great. We didn't have what the disrespect, man. Best team in the league. Best defense in the league. And not one of our guys gets props. Okay. You know what? It's year 3. Year 3 is always the weird year of the rebuild. I will take my team generally playing well. And hopefully not one and done to the Cleveland Browns. That would just be the icing on the cake of this shit cake. Cake made of shit. And that's what it fucking was. Come on, man. Lose to the Browns? They're a meme. A meme team. Good news is at season's end, we did not lose the X factor on Jalen Waddle somehow. And Treylon Burks did gain his superstar. So our skill position players are looking as strong as they ever have going into year 4. Defensively, we gained a superstar back on Harold Landry. Bolton with his 5 interceptions and leading tackles is now up to an X factor. And no other dev traits up or down. So that's ultimately a win for this team, even though we are very much ending the season on a low note, being the 1 seed and losing in our first fucking playoff game. Free agency was a little light in the ass, but we'll still try to be the big spenders here. We need a right tackle to take over for Andre Dillard. And if we can land superstar dev Ronnie Stanley, that would be immense for our team going forward. And that's exactly what we did. Honestly, we might even be able to kick Skoronski over to right tackle to keep Stanley here at left. Draft board did not fall to us at all. There was 2 D tackles I was targeting. Both went in 5 picks when we're picking. So the next best is Parker Harris at safety. Luckily, we rolled the dev trade just because Kevin Byard, I mean, there's a chance he could retire going into year 5. So it's a little bit of an insurance policy. And look at our draft recap. Parker Harris, pretty good. 77 hidden dev, safety. Great athlete. I just got to see. I got to see something. There's 2 D tackles, Atkinson and Taylor, that I really, really wanted. They both went. Let's see. Taylor was 77 as well. Normal dev. He was the guy that I was even thinking about trading up for. So luckily, I mean, we might have got a little bit of a pass on that one. And then there was a defensive tackle, Atkinson. JD Atkinson. He's only 73. He does have the hidden dev, so at least it's equal to the safety. Because I mean, I think, you know, finding a D tackle that could have started this year would have been ideal. But he's only a star dev, so I mean, all in all, not as brutal as I expected. Maybe next year we'll see if there's like a generational guy. We'll trade a lot of picks to move up and be aggressive, but I'll take our depth safety right now. Year 4 for the Tennessee Titans, 5-3, very competitive AFC South. We're tied for 2nd, but currently sit 3rd in the standings, which, you know, it is, again, we just haven't really been able to spend all of our salary cap. And in a salary cap league, when you have $86 million and all these other teams are, you know, close up to the brim, you're going to assume that that difference is talent. We have almost $100 million less talent than some of these other teams that we're competing with, which is definitely not ideal. So looking at these contracts, we'll definitely extend Will Levis, because that's kind of what we're doing here in this rebuild. $100-some million for a star dev quarterback, but you know, again, I like it. Generally speaking, we've been winning. We've been a competitive team, and it's not like Will Levis is copy and paste X factor. You know, we've seen big years, big sims with Anthony Richardson with our Colts rebuild, Bryce Young with the Panthers rebuild. You know, it's refreshing to be like, all right, well, we've built a really, really good team. Actually, I want to keep Jalen Duncan here, part of that class as well. We built a really, really good team, and Will Levis has just been good. So we'll definitely come back to the table with Treylon Burks. You know what? I'll bring back Spears just in case we get like, ooh, I'll give another offer. Just in case we get like a surprise Derrick Henry retires. Hey, year 4 we finish out hot, 13-4, winning the AFC South. Congratulations, Will Levis and company. Looking at the big time numbers, Derrick Henry, second running back in the NFL in terms of yardage. That's about it for our awards, but it's fine. This hasn't been a big awards type. And look at that, Will Levis, 50. Why are we? It has to be just the scheme. 4,400 yards, 36 touchdowns. Great year for sure. Derrick Henry, 1,800 yards, 12 touchdowns. Spears with 380 and 11. We have 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns. Treylon Burks, 1,006 for Jalen Waddle, 8 touchdowns for Kyle Phillips, 8 touchdowns for Kevin Carr. On the defensive side, Ian Bolton, well over 100 tackles. We had 15 half sacks, Harold Landry, 13 from Jeff Simmons, 6 sacks for Uche, 3 picks for Hooker, Banks, and we got Alshire and Farley tied with 2. Number 3 offense in the NFL. Joe Burrow wins the MVP. Will Levis coming in at number 7. First time he's made an MVP shortlist. Congrats to him. Titans. What do we got for the Titans? Come on. Give us something. Can't even give us line? Best O-line? Jesus. This might be like the best team that we've had to never have an award winner. I don't think we've had one. Start year 4. Not a lot of playoff success outside of the one year we went to the AFC Championship game. But luckily, we're going to have an opportunity here. Handle the Miami Dolphins 26-23 in the first round. Divisional round against the Bengals. This is going to be a tough matchup. 87 overall versus 88 overall. We handle business. Oh, look at that. Let's take a look at this. 35-30. And the Patriots handle the Chiefs. We don't have to deal with them. That's a win. 3 touchdowns, 1 pick for Will Levis in this matchup. Derrick Henry ran all over them. Treylon Burks was unstoppable. Got some sacks, Simmons and Solomon. You love to see it. And it sets up a very, very juicy and winnable AFC Championship game against the Patriots. But crazier things have happened. 82 overall. That's something you don't want to see in a sim because that means that team's actually going to play like 102 overall. But we handle business. We put another 30 bomb on the board. Love seeing it. 35-23. This one might be personal. Mike Vrabel getting one here. Oh my God, we forced 3 interceptions. They had a rookie quarterback, so I mean, they absolutely overachieved. 3 picks. Who can we thank for that? Ian Bolton with an interception. Caleb Farley and Al Shire. So we got 2 linebacker, I assume, just baiting them over the middle of the field. And that sets up a awesome Super Bowl matchup between Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans going up. I was hoping to say, they didn't. I mean, against the sim. So, like, maybe the sim wouldn't have the Panthers take Bryce Young. I was hoping it was going to be Bryce Young in the Panthers, except it's Justin Fields in the Panthers. We can play the moments here. Big Super Bowl, year 4. Love to win it now, so it takes a little bit of the pressure off. Year 5. We got weapons. We got Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry deserves Super Bowl ring for sure. This would be pretty cool. Pretty cool if we can do it. Winnable. Winnable as well. Come on. Come on. Strike first, baby. Yes, sir. First touchdown of the game goes to Tennessee. Carolina does respond getting their first points right after we did. But we equalized their field goal. They turned the ball over. It was a quick red zone attempt, and we almost had to settle for a field goal. But we get the touchdown. Carolina does kick a field goal before the end of the first half. But this is pretty drawn out. We've held them to nothing but field goals. We're getting touchdowns. This is boding very well for the Tennessee Titans to become Super Bowl champions. A minute 22 to hold on. Just kill this game off. And we did. Like, oh, they got close. They got over midfield. But year 4, Will Levis, Peter Skoronski, Derrick Henry, Treylon Burks. Yes, we had to sprinkle in a little bit of, like, you know, we got Ronnie Stanley and Jalen Waddle, but we got to spend the money on somebody. But generally, we've built this team the right way. We've infused them with talent, utilized the talent from the 2023 NFL draft class, and it has yielded a Super Bowl victory in year 4. We have an opportunity to close out this rebuild with back-to-back. Does Will Levis have it in him to take this team to another Super Bowl? We are going to find out in year 5 of this Madden 23 Tennessee Titan realistic rebuild. But for the moment, soak that in. Will Levis, you fell to the second round. It was pretty embarrassing. Your absolute smoke show of a girlfriend looked annoyed, but maybe she'll be happy right there with that Super Bowl victory. far as dev traits are concerned, we lost the X factor on Jalen Waddle. That's the only thing that happened on the offense. So that kind of stings. On the defensive side, we gained a star on Shair. We gained an X factor on Harold Landry. That's a win. That's a dub. Oh, Derrick Henry retired. I literally just peeked here to see what we need to spend in free agency. I think wow. Okay, we let Alshir. Harold Landry retired. Harold Landry, Derrick Henry retire. They go out as Super Bowl champions. So we're gonna go into this. Maybe we won't be able to get D. I mean, 80. We need an edge, a middle linebacker, a D end, 2 corners, and maybe a running back, or we rock and roll with Spears. Like, we knew that was a possibility. That's why we re-signed Tyjae Spears. But Derrick Henry retires. Luckily, got plenty of salary cap to do so. So the top running back is Sharp. No, we'll rock and roll with what we got. We need 3-4 defensive end. Absolutely not looking great. Probably just stick with what we got. We need a linebacker, middle linebacker. All right, Patrick Queen. I literally just actually sent a tweet out about Patrick Queen. It looks like the Ravens are shipping him. And of course, because the Eagles are the Eagles, we are linked with him. We'll look at bringing him in at middle linebacker. We need a corner. We need maybe even 2 corners. Yeah, Tyreek Stevenson. Sure, let's go with that. Part of that 2023 draft class. Who did actually draft him? I can't remember. All right, we'll bring him in. Is there an edge? Like Nolan Smith? This guy, Uzuma? No, Harold Landry is there. How did I not resign? Okay, we'll bring him back. I'll even overpay. Potentially, if he wants to be a part of this. Well, let's see how free agency kind of falls so we can kind of set up how we target the draft. And we got all 3 of them. So we're good at edge. We probably could use 1 more corner. We're good at linebacker. Let's go into this draft. Probably looking for another corner. Looking for 3-4 defensive end. Looking for maybe an upgrade at running back. We got plenty of draft picks. If there's a guy worth trading up for, we will go all in for that player. So we got a running back that's projected to go just inside the top 10. Doesn't look incredible, but looks pretty dang good. First in the 40, first in the 3-cone, first in the 20-yard shuttle. Given that these picks are not really particularly good to us, we're going to be trying aggressive here and just get J.D. Lewis. See if that... Now, there's also a chance we do all that and he's not better than Tyjae Spears. And if that's the case, hey, we'll rock and roll with the guy from the 2023 class. All right, we were able to trade up with the Commanders. The team actually projected to get the running back. I don't know if they would actually get a trade, but we trade 2 firsts and our 2nd-round pick this year, basically just selling the draft. Obviously, we're not going to be able to utilize those picks just to get a running back, taking a swing at, by far not a generational looking player, but I mean, I'd be surprised if he's not like 75, at least 75. So let's see. J.D. Lewis comes in and, head and dev at least. An opportunity to be better than Tyjae Spears. But Tyjae Spears, I think, is an 80. Likely going to be our starter. But at least, you can't replace Derrick Henry with 1 guy. Maybe 2 guys can do it. Take a look at our draft recap. How does this team get back to a Super Bowl? It starts with the 84 overall running back. What? That is what? 98 juke move, 90 carrying, 94 agility. I gotta do this. We just got. Is he generational? Does he have X Factor or something like that? He's gonna be our starter anyways. We'll find it out. Stop fucking dinging. Not an X Factor, but that is. I might even have to say this is the most surprising pick we've ever made in terms of a rating. He didn't have any elite traits outside of the fact that he was first in the 40 and the shuttle and the 3-cone. His stats, I mean, we didn't have him fully scouted. He was just the top running back in the class. 84, superstar. That is how you replace Derrick Henry, ladies and gentlemen. Year 5, defending Super Bowl champion Tennessee Titans. This is how our squad is shaping up. The addition, Derrick Henry gone. We bring in a superstar 84 running back. That is incredible. We got obviously Treylon Burks, who's developed nicely. We did pay big money to bring in Jalen Waddle and Ronnie Stanley, and I guess Landon Dickerson. But for the most part, this is all homegrown talent. Offensive line is ridiculous. Skoronski up to a 91. And I think the fact that we're having a successful rebuild, and it's not like Will Levis is cheesing. Will Levis is X Factor, winning MVPs, stuff like that. He's just been a good quarterback, and we've been finding ways to win, so we're going to reward him with the old C on his chest here, and to see if he can lead us to back-to-back Super Bowls. And, of course, doesn't even fucking load in on his jersey, is what it is. Defensively, had to scramble a little bit. Brought back Harold Landry, signed Patrick Queen to really shore up the front seven. Back end of the defense, Stevenson and Farley on the outside. We'll probably go with Harris in the nickel, just maximizing and putting our best defensive backs on the field. Team's pretty damn good. Good enough to win another Super Bowl, I think. Let's close it out with a back-to-back. Awesome, perfect. What an ending. Our I don't want to say we're super team, but the best team in the league goes 9-8, three-way tie. Didn't even make the playoffs to defend our Super Bowl title. Awesome, great. Yeah. Let's go, baby. I mean, thank God we got our Super Bowl. It goes down as a successful rebuild, but this team, you tell me this freaking team doesn't make the playoffs? This team struggles to go 500? Huh? Find that hard to believe. Will Levis was solid. Kind of the theme throughout. No Derrick Henry. Definitely felt that on the offense. Honestly, that's probably the biggest drop-off. We're about 500-600 yards, 10 touchdowns shorter in the running back department than what we had. Burks was great. 14 yards, 16 touchdowns for him. That's his best year of the rebuild. Patrick Queen, 100 tackles. Sacks were definitely down. Yeah. Well, I guess the good news, we can finish with our career stats and kind of look back at, just act like we won the Super Bowl this year. Took us year 5. We didn't win in year 4. Will Levis, through 5 years with the Tennessee Titans, 21,000 yards passing, 185 touchdowns and 50 picks. He's been great. And I think it's always refreshing that we didn't have to have a quarterback that became a superstar, that became a superstar X Factor for us to find a way to win. We were able to build a team around Will Levis. And that was great. Would have been cool to see, Derrick Henry's final stats, but he surprisingly retired. Spears here was solid. Lewis, obviously hit the ground running. High ceiling for him. We have Jalen Waddle, did a lot of that with the Dolphins. But Treylon Burks finishes his career, well, at least this rebuild, 444 receptions, 7,200 yards, 60 touchdowns. He's been awesome. Phillips was a great role player for us as well. 4,600 yards, 40 touchdowns for him. On the defensive side, Kevin Byard, well over 1,000 tackles. We got 69.5 sacks, 89 TFLs for Jeff Simmons, 63 sacks, 77 TFLs for Harold Landry. Interceptions, 29 picks, Kevin Byard, 17 for Amani Hooker. Ian Bolton, our X Factor, drafted as a superstar linebacker. He's also had 11 interceptions. That's a great start for him, only through 4 seasons. But just brutal, man. It's not how you want this one. You never want them to end this way. But at least we had a Super Bowl at some point, and it goes down as a successful rebuild. So next up, fellas, on the list is obviously going to be doing a Houston Texans rebuild with CJ Stroud and Will Anderson. I expect that one to be a little bit more easier. Seems like terrible English, but I mean, I feel like that's going to be a winning combination for us. I thought it was a little bit more of a challenge with Tennessee. That's what I wanted. And we were able to build a really, really fun team and win a Super Bowl. So I guess mission accomplished. That'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. Outside of the Houston Texans, are there any other teams from the 2023 NFL Draft that you guys want to see me rebuild? I've seen the Philadelphia Eagles. I will get to it. But outside of that, let me know what teams you want to see in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys back in the next one. Till then, it's your boy C4 saying peace out. Love ya. Have a good one.